Hello everyone and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I'd like to go through my top tips and the do's and don'ts of a job interview. As part of my day-to-day role, I support with recruitment. This is phone interviews and face-to-face interviews. So I've also had a few good and bad job interviews in my career that has taught me quite a lot. I've learned quite a few skills that I'd like to share with you today, so it gives you the best chance to nail that job interview. If this is something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. You sound enthusiastic. I really enjoy interviewing someone that actually really wants to be there and is actually keen and wants to work for the company. Someone that uses sense of humor, even does a bit of small talk. It just relaxes the room and it just makes it such a pleasure to interview. Nowadays, many companies don't like interviews to be too formal. So just showing your personality, that always comes across really well. Someone that is polite and says thank you, especially at the end of the interview, always lands really well. Do your homework. Make sure that you learned about the company and you have a couple of questions ready when you have your interview. Make sure that you are aware of the role that you're applying for. A lot of the time you will be asked the question, what is your understanding of the role? If you don't know the answer to that, what is the point of you being interviewed? And let's say for whatever reason you've actually got the role, you end up really disliking the role because it wasn't what you have expected. Doing your research shows that you came prepared for the interview, that you have put that little extra effort. I like to see people that are genuinely interested in the company, what the culture is, the ethos, and have questions around that. If you're an internal applicant, make sure you have some questions ready for the interviewer. There's no excuse for that. Make sure you do put some time to ask a couple of questions, very specific questions, because you're obviously already working for the company. A question could be something along the lines of, what is your biggest challenge in the team? Think about what you specifically want to know. Don't go to an interview without asking any questions. That generally doesn't come across really well. Do read the job profile. This is so important when you're applying for a role. You will be able to read the job profile when you go onto any of the websites, or if it's an internal applicant, it will give you more details about what they're actually looking for. A job advert will give you an indication of the specific qualities that they want from the person that they're trying to employ. It is very important to look out for the keywords that they put into their job advert. Reading the keywords from that job profile will actually give you an indication of what sort of questions to expect from the interviewer. This is a job advert that I was looking at, and under who are we looking for, the description was recognized as a role model in all aspects of your performance and behavior. The key word there is role model. You have to come to the interview prepared with an example of when you have been a role model. It will never be exactly the same question. Give me an example of when you've been a role model. The question could be phrased differently, but the key word will be in there. As long as you bring in an example of when you've exhibited a role model behavior or when you have been a role model in a team. Anything like that, as long as you come in prepared with an example, it doesn't matter how they phrase that question, your answer will be there ready. Do structure your answers. I personally have always had examples written down and I've taken these with me to the interview, answered in a structured way. Generally, corporate companies like to use the STAR format. What this means is having your answer structured by the situation, the task, the action, and the result. If you've got this structured this way, they will love it. I do as well. It makes it so much easier to answer their questions. I have interviewed people in so many occasions, they have gone off track with their answer and haven't actually answered my question, and I've had to bring them back to the question. By using the STAR format, you know in your head that this is the situation that I was in, this is the task that I had to take, this is what I've done, the action that I have done, and this was the end result. To give you a real life scenario, a question could be, give me an example of when you worked under pressurized environment. The situation here is we had to achieve the target by the end of the month. The task here is I had to formulate a work plan in order to achieve the target by the end of the month. The action is I've put together a work plan, or I've put together a task list in order for us as a team to achieve this target by the end of the month. The result is that because I've put together the task list or the work plan, we have managed as a team to achieve the target by the end of the month. The team was more efficient, therefore we've managed to achieve our target earlier than the due date. I've gone through what a star formatted answer is. So the situation, the task, the action, and the end result. It's very important that you have these answers structured in that way, because as I mentioned to you before, it just makes it easier for you to give the answer. It also keeps you on track. You could also add what are the benefits to what you have done. Think about the benefits for the business, the benefits for the customer, and the benefits for yourself. So let's go back to the example I've just given you. The benefit for the business is that because you've achieved your target early, it could potentially mean that they win more business. The benefit for the customer is that they receive their product or the service sooner than they were actually expecting it. And the benefit for yourself could mean that you will get an increase in your pay, or it could mean bigger bonuses. So let's move on to the don'ts of a job interview. Don't rush through the interview. What I mean by this is make sure you give yourself enough time for that job interview. If, for example, you're being interviewed over the phone and they say it will take 30 minutes, give yourself at least an hour. You might have some questions, or the interview just naturally sometimes takes longer. I've had people in the past that have given themselves 20-30 minutes for that interview because they had to go back to work, or they couldn't carry on. That does not give a good impression at all. Don't forget to use I. There's no such thing as we in a job interview. I have done this. I have achieved this. That is so important. I've actually made that mistake before, and my feedback was that I've used the word we a lot. It's quite natural to say we have done this, our team have done this. Forget that. Use the word I have achieved this because I have done da 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 da. You don't go to an interview to tell them what your colleague has done and what your team has done. They are interested in what you have done. Don't be too confident. Confidence is a great thing, but it's important not to come across overconfident. I've interviewed people in the past that have come across arrogant by saying things like, I am the best at this, no one achieves what I'm achieving, I am the best and my team is rubbish. What you want to put across that yes, you are the highest achiever in the team, however, you're supporting the team and you're working together as a team. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good you are, a team will always achieve more. So you don't want to come across like a lone wolf and that you're pushing everyone around you and you just want to work by yourself and you don't care about anyone else. You will always achieve more in a team. Don't go in an interview and start talking badly about your previous employer. This might sound strange, but I've had people do that in interviews. Generally, don't mention your relationship with your previous boss or your previous manager. It doesn't really matter. If, for whatever reason, they're asking a question of why have you left the company, and if you really feel that it's necessary that you want to mention it, you can say something like, I left the company because there was differences of opinion between me and my manager. But don't go in too much detail, just leave it at that. And the last bit on this list is don't be unprofessional. Make sure that you're there on time. Give yourself enough time in case you hit traffic, in case you can't find parking. This will give you the chance to grab a coffee or read through the notes that you've taken with you. And also, you don't walk into that interview feeling flustered, feeling stressed out and out of breath. Make sure that you look presentable. Some companies have a dress down or casual wear policy. However, when you're interviewing, do not show up there looking scruffy, wearing your trainers, etc. Make sure that you wear a pair of smart trousers, smart shoes and a shirt. Trust me, first impressions do really count. It is so much harder to make a good impression than it is to make a bad one. To summarize everything that I've gone through in this video, sound enthusiastic, do your homework, read the job profile, structure your answers, don't rush through the interview, don't forget to use the word I, don't be overconfident, don't badmouth your previous employer, and be professional. That's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching. Also, have I missed anything? Is there anything else that you wanted me to cover? Please let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you want to. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.